Hey guys, welcome back. Something I noticed recently is I found some rust around this back edge. I see my first video, one of my first videos, you know, there's a big camping setup that goes in the back here, mattress, and a fly screen that covers this so that we can have the back door open while we're camping. Something I did notice a little while ago was I got some rust behind this rubber seal, and you might too. So this is definitely something to keep an eye on. This rubber seal comes off very easily. Just pull, the whole thing comes out. And what I found last time was just this little bit of rust starting along this edge here. Rust has a really bad reputation in the car world for very good reason, really. It is car cancer. The little bit you see quite often means there's a lot worse hiding. I think I've found this stuff pretty early on. It's bubbled, but it hasn't spread. There's no holes yet. It all looks very treatable. So I want to get onto it before it becomes a really big issue and it's got rust holes and then it's a whole big deal. So, been at Bunnings, got myself some masking tape for masking around because we're going to be hitting it with a wire brush. You want to do as little damage as possible. So I want to mask up this edge here, right where the rubber seal goes, so that I don't touch any of the factory paintwork, and just get the bits that are just starting to come through. I might even be able to clean some of this up and just treat it without actually brushing it off. But I got a wire brush set. You can just use sandpaper if you want. It's just a little bit faster. I've got access to drills and stuff that you can have the attachment for. These have a little attachment that goes inside the drill. Probably seen it before. Just way faster, and it's the weekend. I want to be doing this as quickly as possible. I got a little bit of rust converter. This is just like a wipe on thing. Leave it. It converts the rust, and then give it all a clean. Probably clean it before you. So yeah, wire brush, and then clean it, then rust convert it, let it dry off a bit, and then I've just got some gloss white. I'm not too worried about a perfect paint match. You can get as carried away as you like, but I just want to get rid of the rust. I'm not too fussed about how it's going to look behind the seal. Like I said, you can get as carried away as you like. One of the great things is it hasn't really gone through to this layer, which is fantastic. I might just pull some of this up. You can see there's some sand in here, little ant. Some sand in here, which is from just, beach camping. It gets everywhere. It sounds pretty horrible like that. But yeah, this edge along here is probably the worst bit. But look, it's not too bad, but it's way easier to get it now than later. So just put this aside somewhere. That'll do. Also important to give this a little bit of a clean out while you're at it, because it'll have little bits of rust inside there. You can just sort of see it. Just clean this out, just that pinching bit. You can buy new ones of these from Mitsubishi apparently. They're very expensive, but yeah, you want to clean this bit of rust out of this as best as possible before you put it back on, because obviously you're just encouraging rust again. You don't want that. So yeah, we're gonna mask it up and hit it with a brush. All right, I'm going to take this trim here off, so it's pretty simple. Just lift up your spare wheel well. I have some supplies in here. There's a couple of little clips behind here. Just grab the bottom of it. Just give it a little pull. You hear it pop. It's just little covers popping off. There's there. These cover little bits, little screw heads. Just here. There's another one here. And another one here. And then it's just a case of grabbing this plastic trim and just giving it a quick pop. There you go. These plastic bits, if you slowly pull on them, they can come off, but usually just a quick rip is the best way, because that pops these clips along here off. This has been off a few times before, so it's a little bit broken, but it's fine. Yeah, so just along here. Did mention I thought I might have found some rust there, some sand at least, so just wanted to give it a double check, make sure I'm not going to miss anything. I don't really want to do this again anytime soon. Probably have to, but that's just the way cars go. So yeah, it's looking okay up through here. There's a tiny little spot here. But yeah, all in all, not too bad. You can get really carried away and remove all these trims if you really want to, but I'm not going to do that today. So yeah, I'm just going to keep the brake clean, or whatever it is in this stuff, a rag, just sort of going around cleaning all the dirt off at first, and then masking it up, because obviously masking tape doesn't stick to dirt. So yeah, give a quick clean first, then mask it. Alrighty, so we got 2 layers. I did buy the cheapest tape Bunnings had to offer, but probably should have got the better stuff. The cheap masking tape's a bit of a pain. Anyway, it just doesn't bend or stick very well, so anyway, it's on there. I've got a couple of layers, a little bit thicker where I'm going to be doing some extra grinding, a little bit less where I'm not going to be doing any, obviously. So yeah, next step, try to break into these things. Anyway, I'll get into that in a second. I'm probably start with this one on the worst bits, and yeah, get stuck into it, see what we got. One quick little bit of advice: throw some safety glasses on, or sunglasses on if you're working outside. These little wire bristles do love to flick off, and obviously you're using this drill, that's spinning pretty quick, so all this little bits of rust and paint, they're going to be flicking off. You don't need it in your eyes. Grab some safety glasses, some sunglasses, whatever. They're like $1 or $2, so just a little quick tip, safety tip. And yeah, just try to keep the stuff out of your eyes, because it is a giant pain. Alrighty, so this is sort of what I'm talking about here. Got the wire brush on the drill and just getting it on there. Sorry, it's a little bit difficult while filming, but yeah. And then just sort of grinding it back until it's not there. I've done a little bit over this other side here, and this is what I'm talking about. So you can see it's taken off all that bubbling, and we're back down to bare metal here, and it has gotten rid of all that rust. So this is what it starts out like this. Grind it off a little bit and sort of keep going until you've taken off as much as you need to, and sort of hopefully nothing more. And then you're left with just this bare metal here, nice and clean and no rust. So that's the plan of attack. We'll just keep slowly making our way around the whole frame, and then we'll give it a clean. I'll probably remask it all, and then hit it with some paint. Nice and easy. Alrighty. So yeah, here we are in this corner here. A little bit tricky, but yeah. That little slip there, that's why you mask it up. So you can see here, I've just taken just a top layer of masking tape off. So what you can do is just grab some more masking tape, bang another bit on, and make sure you don't keep scratching your paint, because, you know, as much as it's inside the rear door, you don't normally see it. It's still, you know, you don't want to be taking too much off. So carefully do under here next. And luckily, this whole bottom edge here is actually really good. There's no rust under there at all. So it is just mostly just these two sides. There's a tiny bit at the top here, just here. I don't know why, just this one random spot. But the rest, maybe that's where it started, got in from there, not sure. Yeah, this side here is probably the worst. This side here is nearly done. I just got this little corner down the bottom here to go. Now, there's a reason why people hate rust, because it's real bad. Here's a door off a old Holden we got laying around. Here's the old Holden. There's just nothing left of this. This is like totally gone. It's completely scrap metal at this stage. But yeah, this is why people hate rust. It just eats cars. So get onto it early, keep an eye on it, treat it properly, and it won't be a big issue later on. So yeah, we'll just keep plugging along. All right, I did have a couple of comments about lighting in previous videos, so here we are. Hopefully that's not too bright now. Yeah, this is in the corner here. Proven to be pretty tricky to get to. You can see all those little bubbles. We want to try to get rid of those bubbles and get it to a smooth finish. Like these spots here. You can see how smooth it is. We've gotten rid of the rust. No bubbles there. So we just keep grinding till those bubbles are gone. Hopefully the sort of wheel keeps lasting. Found this little one to be the best one so far. Whatever works for you. So that might be sandpaper. If that's what you want to use, go for it. I would probably avoid using anything too coarse, like flap disc, for example. This will work. This will get rid of rust real quick, but you'll also remove a lot of material, like a lot of actual metal from the car. So just bear that in mind. Don't go too crazy. Start small, work your way up, and yeah, we'll just keep plotting along, get this corner finished off, start this side, and then yeah, let's go. Alrighty, so we've got this corner all cleaned up. See what I mean about all those big bubbles gone. This corner was actually probably the worst bit so far. Yeah, we got right into the corner there. Got rid of the paint, got rid of the rust. A little bit along here. Now the other side. Let's go. Alrighty, so just finished wire brushing this whole side here. I messed up a little bit. I slipped and I scratched the plastic trim a bunch of times. So, anyone's got one of these pieces of trim laying around, I'd love to buy it off you. Otherwise, that might be another video where I go to the wreckers and find some trims. Maybe I'll repaint the grey black, because I've seen that before. It looks awesome. Anyway, enough of that. All the rust has been removed now. Well, as good as I'm going to be able to get it with a wire brush anyway. Let's see if you can see this here. See this, the pitting in the metal. That is the rust just sort of eaten into it there. So that's why we've got the rust converter. This stuff here. This will neutralize the rust. It basically stops the rust from spreading, growing, becoming worse. So we're gonna wipe that on next. Oh well, give it all a good proper clean with some brake clean first, or degreaser, whatever you got. It's gonna get it nice and clean. I'm gonna bang this stuff on, give it, says 15 minutes, I think. 20 minutes, touch dry, recoat, 2 to 3 hours. So we're gonna give it 20 minutes, then we're gonna bang some paint on it. Now, as I was saying about safety glasses before, you can see how much of this wire brush is now missing. This one here is not even, I've been using it for 5 minutes or so. So it is just, it's kind of all over me. It's all over the floor, it's all over the car. So it's these little bits of wire out of the wire brush that can flick off, stab you. I'm bleeding before from one. It gets everywhere. You could mask up the interior. That would probably not be a dumb idea. Yeah, it does flick everywhere. It does make a hell of a mess. So make sure when you've finished all of this, you wash all of the metal off the car. Give it a proper hose, proper wash, get all the metal off the car, because all those little tiny bits of metal that are now floating around everywhere, if you leave the car out in the rain at this stage, at this stage, all of this exposed metal will rust, but all those little bits of dust, all this stuff will turn to rust really quickly as soon as it gets wet. So just a little word of warning. Yeah, Give your car a really good wash after you've done anything like this, where you're removing metal, grinding, or any of that sort of stuff. Make sure you wash it off properly, or else you're gonna have little rust spots all over your car. It's gonna promote rust later on. And you're gonna be doing this all over again. So yeah, wash it away. Alrighty, now I'm going around just with a bit of brake clean on a Scotch-Brite pad. Don't have to do this bit, but just want to make sure it's as clean as possible. We're just going around getting all the surface prepped and getting the rest of the dirt off. So we've got a little bit of dirt in there, nice and clean again. So yeah, I'm gonna go around the whole door frame, clean all this up real good, and then we'll do the rust converter. So yeah, a lot of this is prep work, like anything really, painting especially. Your end product's only going to be as good as your prep work. So yeah, go around it, get some Scotch-Brite pad. The stuff's really good. You can grab the green Scotch-Brite pad from underneath your sink that you use to do dishes. Same stuff, basically. Yeah, just give it all really good clean, and then rust convert time. Alrighty, so I've gone all around with the Scotch-Brite pad, all nice and clean. But obviously there's a bunch of sort of paint stuff laying around. So cleanish rag, and just going around and cleaning it all back. You can see all the stuff running down here. Need to get that all nice and clean, and then move on to the rust converting. So yeah, like I said, lots of prep work. But yeah, don't be afraid to tackle some rust. It sounds daunting, can be real bad. If you find some really bad spots, it's probably best to take it to a panel beater. I am actually a panel beater by trade, so I do have some idea of what I'm doing. But yeah, a lot of it's very, very simple. Like worst case scenario, you're gonna find a hole, which can be pretty easily fixed by anyone with a welder who knows half of what they're doing. It's just metal, it's just paint, it's all, at the end of the day, these are just cars. They're only as complicated as you want them to be. So yeah, we'll get this nice and clean. And yeah, I scratched the interior panels a couple of times. I'm not too fast. This is a 4-wheel drive, it's a camping car. It's gonna get probably a little bit beaten up on trips and whatnot. So yeah, just yeah, do your best, take care of the rest, whatever. You can always buy new plastics, you can always buy a new tail light if you break one. Rear bars, you can grab them at the wreckers. This sort of stuff, don't worry about it so much. Yeah, cars are made to be enjoyed. Enjoy them. Alrighty, so got all this cleaned up, brake clean, rag. I actually managed to find an air blower today, so I was able to blow it all away, all the dust away. Now we're left with some very clean, very, very clean spots where we used to have rust. So now it's the tedious job of masking it all back up again. This time, it needs to be super neat, because obviously this is the step before painting. So the neater it is, the better it's gonna be. Take your time, do it right. Hopefully you only have to do it once. Okay, so with this stuff, you can brush it on or you can wipe it on with a rag. I can't find a brush, I forgot to grab one, so just got a nice new clean rag. Tip some on here, wipe it on the rust, and then give it some time to tack off. It says about 20 minutes, so I'll give it probably 15-20 minutes. It's a very warm day again, so give it some time to dry off, maybe put another coat on it, and then hit it with some paint. Alrighty, so this is the rust converter on a rag. Find a clean spot over here, and you just wipe it on. Don't worry about it being perfect. Wipe it on, you just let it do its thing, and you'll see the rust starts going dark. And that's the rust getting neutralized, and that'll stop it from spreading in the future. So how black it is now. So that is this stuff doing its job. You just dab it on. Just let it do its thing for a couple of minutes. I'll work my way around, and then I'll probably just work my way around once more just to make sure I haven't missed anything. And yeah, then it's yeah, time to mask it up and paint it. Alrighty, so gone around a couple of times. You can see the rust converter doing its job, turning it nice and dark. You see, it doesn't go dark where the clean metal is, but it does go dark where the rust was. And that's the rust converter just doing its job. So yeah, gone all the way around. Next bit is I'm just gonna like clean the extra stuff. Like got a little bit too much going on over here. You can see I've just kind of just wiped it all over it and got some excess everywhere. So I'm gonna go around with some brake clean, degreaser, whatever this is, and just clean the excess off and then mask it up. So yeah. Alrighty, so I found some masking paper. This is a proper paint supply shop kind of thing. It's paper that has masking tape attached to the edge. It's what panel shops use, it's what home guys use. It's very handy for covering a large space very quickly. You can just use newspaper or whatever. Like I found this, so I'm just using a small bit just around here because the overspray just from spraying this edge is gonna probably go everywhere. You can clean that stuff off with clay bar, but yeah, anyway, we've got it. I've got it all masked up all the way around. I've just left just the small edge exposed. So I did find some better, nice and thin masking tape too. Thanks to Luke for that. So yeah, I've masked around the edge, got it nice and neat and tight. And yeah, so now it's clean, it's masked, and it's time for the very easy part of just throwing some paint on it. And then it's pretty much done. So yeah, we'll throw some paint on it now, and hopefully that's pretty much it. Alrighty, so got the first coat on. Luckily enough, the car's white, so I was able to just get gloss white. This is just a enamel, whatever paint. It's supposed to be like a proper rust one, but we've got the rust converter on there anyway, so that's just an extra precaution. You can just get rust converting paint. It's probably not as good as doing it this way. I think for the extra $17 or something for this tiny bottle, this one here, I think for like the extra $17, it's worth getting this. That way, especially if you've got like a special color Pajero or whatever car you're doing actually, you can get like the right paint from a paint shop that's the right color. Like I said, this is going behind the pinch weld, so it doesn't really matter, but yeah, I wouldn't want to use black because it'll stand out, especially if you missed a tiny bit of masking tape or whatever. Like the pinch weld isn't going to cover this tiny little bit here. So, you know, if the color's sort of close enough, then it's going to look a whole lot better. I probably could have done a better job of masking this up. It's probably going to get a little bit of paint in here, but I'm not too worried about that. So yeah, first coat's on. It's just a really light coat. You don't want to run in like crazy. So yeah, just a light coat first. Give that 10 minutes or so to dry off. Grab a fan. We've got a couple over there, but yeah, whatever. So yeah, just gonna wait for that to dry off a little bit. Might go find some food maybe. And yeah, then let's chuck another coat on and pretty much job done. Alrighty, so while I'm waiting for paint to dry, I figure I should keep myself busy instead of just mindlessly scrolling on Facebook and clean this pinch weld up. Like I mentioned before, this is where water and everything likes to hide. Obviously, it's rubber. It's gonna breed like capturing dirt and stuff like this. You want to find the bits where the rust was probably the worst, and then yeah, get some brake clean or whatever, anything that's going to be gentle on rubber, this sort of thing here, get in there and clean this sort of out. So just a bit of spray on a rag, maybe wrap the rag in a screwdriver so you can get in there nicely, and just get it sort of as clean as you can, because like I mentioned, you don't want to go putting dirty stuff over fresh paint. So we'll give this a clean up. It's a bit of a tedious job, but it's definitely worth doing. Or if you've got the money, you can go buy a new one of these. Up to you. Alrighty, so clean this up pretty good. Nice and shiny in there. I did it mostly with the brake clean and the rag there, and then just went around again with some penetrating, dispersing, like WD-40 basically. Does all these things perfect. So yeah, that's done now. It's been about 15 minutes, so chuck another coat of white on this, and that's we'll be pretty close then. Alrighty, second coat's on. It's looking pretty fresh, nice and shiny. Still a couple of little thin spots, so I'll probably go over this a third time. But yeah, getting the idea. It's not super hard. It's been, I got here about 12:30. It's now 2:30, I think. Time's fallen away from me. So that's about 2 hours, 2.5 hour project. I'm lucky enough to have some bits and pieces laying around that made it a bit easier. Probably wouldn't recommend getting the cheapest tape except for doing the excess area. Grab a roll of good quality thinner tape for doing the lining. That's just a little trick there. Drill definitely sped up the process, but you know, use what you've got. So yeah, we're getting there. It's almost done. So hopefully we'll might just chuck one more coat on just to be sure, and then I might just actually leave it like this till Monday morning, and then I'll just quickly chuck this on, and then that way it's fully cured. I'm not rushing the process. I do have a bad habit of doing that, so yeah, I'm gonna give it another 5-10 minutes for this last coat I put on to tack off a bit, and then I'm gonna chuck. Then I'm just gonna leave it. It can stay like this for the rest of the weekend. It's Saturday now, so it'll have all Sunday to bake inside this hot shed. That way the paint will be nice and dry and hard. I've got that luxury. I've got the other Pajero to get around in, so I've got that luxury to let this bake away in here for the weekend. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. That way I get home a little bit earlier too. So yeah, another 10 minutes, another quick coat around the edge, and then we'll call it a day, I think. Alrighty, so that's the final coat all done. It's nice and shiny. It's very wet. But yeah, it's all done. It's all painted the whole way around now. Like I said, I'm gonna leave it at this and come back to it Monday. And that way this will all have time to dry properly. You can see how wet and shiny this paint is. Hopefully it's still this kind of shiny when I come back on Monday, but yeah, so yeah, next step on Monday, obviously rip all this off and then chuck the pinch weld back on, close the door, job done. That's it. So hopefully this video's helped out. Let me know if I've missed anything. If you need me to clear anything up, leave it in the comments. Anything else you guys want to see, please ask. I'm more than happy to make some more videos. Next one's actually, well, I kind of already have some more parts on the way, but I also have some parts here. Tie rod ends need replacing, so that's in the next video. I've also bought some new rear springs, which I'm gonna fit, and some suspension bushes that need replacing because it's got a couple of little knocks. Glasshouse made that a little bit worse, but you know, such is life, you gotta pay to play. But yeah, So yeah, come Monday, rip all this off, chuck the seal back on, close the door, job done. It's that easy, guys. Like, even my little mistakes I've made, I've shown you. I haven't tried to hide any of this stuff from you. It's, you know, cars are cars. You really can't get this very wrong. Even if you completely screw it up, you can take it to a panel shop and get them to fix it. But, you know, have it go. This job has cost me, I think it was about $55 in total. I probably, like I said, would grab some better masking tape. Apart from that, that's pretty much the only other thing that I didn't grab, but I luckily had that laying around anyway, so that was very handy. Some methylated spirits, brake clean, just anything to clean the job before you chuck some paint on it is always going to be helpful. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and do all that fun stuff. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one, and we'll play with some more Pajero parts. Cheers, thanks for watching.